Hey collectors, enthusiasts, and Simply Seppi family. Just doing another video today, this time on my Yu-Gi-Oh collection as it pertains to the Metal Raiders set. The reason I wanted to do this is PSA actually released in their March edition of their collector's magazine an article on Metal Raiders as a set for Yu-Gi-Oh, which I thought was pretty cool. It came out in the same edition that had Kobe Bryant on the front page. Rest in peace to him and his daughter. I wanted to kind of take a second to go through a lot of what the article had brought up as some cool factoids. So here are my cliff notes of the article, plus my collection of graded Metal Raiders cards. And I'm really excited because Metal Raiders is one of my favorite sets outside of maybe Legend of Blue Eyes. And it seems like the author of the article, Anthony Jay-Z, agreed, because he characterizes Metal Raiders as the set that made the game playable. And its release was highly anticipated based on the many popular cards it brought with it from the anime. So, and I'll bring some of those that I have to light and show you exactly what I'm talking about. So essentially this is what a Metal Raiders box looks like. You can see the first edition stamp. I typically like to collect first editions over unlimited sets. So essentially, here's your first fun factoid. In 2017, a first edition box such as this sold for approximately about $800 on average, where today they sell for about $2,200 on average, representing a 275% increase in price. That is pretty steep in only a set of 3 years. So that's pretty insane in my opinion. So first off in my collection, the pride and joy of my collection is my Black Skull Dragon first edition that I pulled from one of the boxes that I had just shown. I just think that the blues and the holographics are just gorgeous on this card. It received a Gem Mint 10 grading, which I was extremely happy about. And I'll go through my holographics first because I think they're the most interesting. So let me set this over here. So first we had the Black Skull Dragon. Second I will go through is Magic Jammer. Trap card, graded at Gem Mint 10. During this video, once I'm editing it, you'll see the prices on the side for what they currently trade for. There's a couple that I wanted to call out on cards I either have or am highly seeking in Gem Mint 10 grading. I typically have a better feeling when I pull them from the pack than when I buy them as a graded Gem Mint 10. And luckily for my Metal Raiders collection, all of the ones that you'll see in this video, I have personally pulled from packs, which to me is extremely exciting. So that's Magic Jammer. Horn of Heaven is a gorgeous card as well at Gem Mint 10. And I typically, I don't go too much into the effects of each of the cards, either spell or trap, just because I'm more of a collector. And I haven't played the game in a very long time, and it would actually take a lot of time away from the video and me showing you how cool some of the artworks are on these cards. And that's just not a facet that I am overly concerned with. Seven Tools of the Bandit, another beautiful card. Trap. Metal Raiders first edition. You could always tell because you have the, where are you? Resolve. The first edition right below the image. one of the 3 pieces of the Gate Guardian. So Kazijin, I was lucky enough to get, I have 2 Kazijins. One's a Gem Mint 10, which is the one that I keep in my collection. The other is a Mint 9. Both pulled from packs, different boxes. And this is the middle piece of the Gate Guardian set. The Gate Guardian is one of 2 secret rares in the Metal Raiders set. So, the other being Thousand Dragon. Karibo, who as a monster card is iconic because it was used so often in the anime and Yugi's deck. So graded at Gem Mint 10, beautiful holographic. It's classified as a super rare card. From the article, basically the author Anthony stated that 94 have been submitted for first edition Karibos. And out of the 94, 59 have been graded a PSA Gem Mint 10. And that's 63% of them. With the card trading typically at around $175, which is more than Gem Mint super rares typically trade for Metal Raiders, with the majority of super rares trading for below $100 typically. And you'll see on the next one as well as a perfect example of that. But the reason we think that Karibo trades for that high is because of its popularity from the anime. So over here. So Harpy Lady Sisters, as used by My Valentine. It's a super rare that's below $100 typically in trade value. This is Gem Mint 10. But this also is a perfect example of a card that is a super rare that trades below the value of a Gem Mint Karibo. And then lastly, for the holographic Gem Mint 10s in my collection, I have Tribute to the Doomed, a magic card. It's got a beautiful artwork, beautiful hologram, or beautiful holographic. Gem Mint 10. I would have really, out of all the magic cards I could have gotten in Metal Raiders, the one I want the most is Change of Heart. That's my favorite magic card out of any set, instead of, except for maybe Regeki, but, or Regeki, however you want to pronounce it. Change of Heart is my all-time favorite magic card. So, other holographics I have that graded at Gem Mint 9 are the Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon monster fusion card based off of the Thunder Dragon cards. So pretty easy fusion to make. This is at a Mint 9. I'm actually going to move my Gem Mint 10s out of the way, so that way I have area for these cards. Garnecia Elephantis at Mint 9. I thought it was cool during the article. There were a majority of the collection that I had. They had, because Metal Raiders is the largest set out of any of the sets for the 2002 series, they had a lot of the cards that I had sent in to get graded. So I thought that was pretty cool. So Garnecia Elephantis. Heavy Storm, which I used a lot when I did play. This card at a Mint 9, I was really hoping it got a 10, because I was hoping to be able to... I'm still keeping it in my collection until I could receive a Gem Mint 10, but if the increase of 275% continues, I'm not going to be able to afford these boxes. So, as it is right now, it's most boxes for Metal Raiders trade at about $2,200 to $2,500, so pretty hefty price tag. Sangan, who is also a very heavily used card in the original card game. Not Gem Mint, but just a Mint 9. Sangan is just a rare card. But you are guaranteed at least one rare card per pack. So that's pretty cool. Got Witch of the Black Forest at a mint 9. And the reason I'm showing you these mint 9s is because they're part of my collection, and most of them were part of the article. Blade Fly. I'll go pretty quickly through the rares at Gem Mint 9. Or at Mint 9, excuse me. Princess of Tsurugi? Is the T silent? I'll say Tsurugi. Okay. So another few Gem Mint 10s that I had that were non-holographic were the Magician of Faith, that typically trades at about $50 PSA 10 value. Shadow Ghoul, Gem Mint 10. Pretty cool card. There is another variant of this card called Wall Shadow, which was used in Pegasus's Castle during the Duelist Kingdom tournament. Elegant Egotist, which is essentially the card that summons Harpy Lady Sisters, Gem Mint 10. Skull Knight, Gem Mint 10. Great Moth, as used by Weevil Underwood in Duelist Kingdom, Gem Mint 10. From the Cocoon of Evolution, which was a short print, which is actually more valuable than the Great Moth. I intend to send that for grading in my next bulk order. Little Chimera, Gem Mint 10. And the White Magical Hat at Gem Mint 10. So a couple of other cards that I wanted to bring up were, just because they're very iconic, Baby Dragon, utilized by Joey Wheeler in the anime to create Thousand Dragon with the Time Wizard. Not really how it's played, but still thought pretty cool. My wife loves the anime. Joey Wheeler's Brooklyn accent. We're both from New York, even though we don't really have typically the accent of a New Yorker. But she loves the Brooklyn accent of when he goes, "Baby Dragon," you know? So he just, I don't know why he's from Brooklyn and the rest of them aren't. Mask of Darkness, which was called out in the article. That was a near mint to mint 8. And same thing with the Masked Sorcerer, near mint to mint 8. So a couple of interesting things about the Metal Raiders set as a whole. Let me just bring these boxes over here. Because I have one that's like open right now, but then the other one, I'll just leave this here because I think artistry wise it looks a lot nicer. So one thing that I find interesting, I desperately want to add to my collection but have yet to pull it, unfortunately, at this point. The first edition Gate Guardian is the most frequently submitted Metal Raiders card, at having over 190 been submitted, with only 69 being graded as a PSA 10. And that's about 36%. And the current market value of a Gate Guardian for PSA 10 is around $550 to $650. So it is a hefty price tag, and that's like the fair market value. And most collectors that are willing to sell their Gem Mint 10s sell them above fair market value. So unless you could get someone reasonable to give like a buy it now offer to from eBay, or trade someone at an event for the legitimacy of what the fair market value is, most likely you're going to have to pay a premium above of what fair market value is. The other secret card that I referenced earlier was Thousand Dragon. And typically Thousand Dragon trades for about $100 more than the Gate Guardian, which is also a secret rare, in the same condition of Gem Mint 10. So even though Thousand Dragon has a much higher population, percentage-wise, at about 48% of them being Gem Mint 10s, even though it's a lower quantitative population, it for some reason trades at a higher value. And That, I would love to see you guys drop a comment to see why it trades at a higher value, because I wouldn't consider Thousand Dragon to be any more iconic than Gate Guardian. They're used from the anime perspective. They're one's used by Joey Wheeler, the other is used by the twins at Duelist Kingdom, but they're both leveraged, not in the same amount of duels, but for the same amount of time in terms of screen time. And they're both very iconic cards to have. So drop a comment as to why you think that Thousand Dragon at the same condition trades at about $100 more, because I'd be interested to see what your perspective is on that. In this set, Summon Skull and Solemn Judgment are some of the harder Metal Raider ones to find at Gem Mint, and because of that, they tend to fetch a premium as a result. So personally, one came out on eBay a couple weeks back at around $1,000 sale price. PSA has their trade value at around, I think it's, I want to say $350. I gotta check. Let me rectify that in the video. I will clarify on the side right here. But essentially, I wanted to get the price down to about $500. It went on sale for about $750, and I should have just pulled the trigger on it, and I'm kind of remiss that I didn't. But in July, I do plan on buying another Metal Raiders box, and hopefully, cross your fingers, because that is my birthday month, that it'll bring me some good luck, and I will be able to get the Gate Guardian as a secret and Summon Skull as an ultra, right? Because those are the two. If you could get that in the same box, oh, that's phenomenal. That's just a great box. And the last factoid that I have from the article that I thought was extremely interesting was, unlike its predecessor set, The Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon, which featured traps at 0% and spell cards at 10% of ultra rares, Metal Raiders featured them on 60% of their ultra rares, making them a much more competitive deck than Legend of Blue Eyes, which had majority of their ultra rares be monster cards. And that's why I believe that the author Anthony Jezzi characterizes Metal Raiders as the set that made the game playable, even though Legend of Blue Eyes right now for an LOB box, which right now I couldn't afford without being financially irresponsible to my family, so you're not going to see that for quite some time. I even though it's iconic, Metal Raiders apparently between the 2002 sets is the set that made the game the most playable with its variety of trap and magic cards, as opposed to just being so heavily monster card based. And that's, again, I don't want to speak for all of the sets, so I typically collect the 2002 sets, which is Metal Raiders, I'll do it in order: Legend of Blue Eyes, Metal Raiders, Pharaoh's Servant, and Magic Ruler, which eventually in later sets becomes Spell Ruler. But so I typically collect those sets in first edition, and Metal Raiders, out of all of them, has the largest set. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm going to be taking a bunch of the snippets from the article and putting them on the screen, just in case you wanted to kind of read over them. But I thought the article was really interesting, and it made me want to show my Metal Raiders collection as a whole. So I really hope that you enjoy these cards as much as I do. I plan on doing a couple more bulk ratings. So what happens typically when I do a bulk rating, I get the ones back. I have duplicates. The ones that get added to my collection, the duplicates either get sold on my eBay page or they get raffled off on Raffle Saturdays. So keep your eye on for that. And I just wanted to say I hope you enjoy the video. And this is Simply Seppi signing off.